Electronic mobility is becoming more popular across the globe. Well, while there are many reasons this is true, the vast improvement of the vehicles themselves is a primary motivator. One major reason more people are buying electric vehicles globally these days is that they are readily available. People are more exposed to electric vehicles than they were just a few years ago, and this is because many more models are available in many parts of the world. This development has brought about curiosity in the mind of car owners who are not familiar before now with electric vehicles, as their heart yearns to know more about these technological breakthroughs. Electric mobility revolves around electric vehicles that relies on electric batteries rather than gasoline or diesel engines to provide the energy required for movement. Electrical energy is drawn from a large and rechargeable battery, then sent through a series of components before reaching an electric motor or motors that power the wheel moving the vehicle. My guest today is the founder of Think Electric Africa. Think Electric Africa is electric.
Yeah.
Okay, why did you think electric?
Well, I'm a Christian, so in the Bible it says, "As a man thinketh, so he is."
Interesting.
So once you think about it, I know Nigeria, we have a peculiar case of epileptic power supply, no electricity and all of that. So by the time we keep thinking about it, maybe it will be.
Interesting. Okay, I have a few questions for you today.
Alright.
And then the first one is, as a stakeholder in the automotive industry, which you are because of what you're trying to do with electronic mobility, can you give us a brief insight into what electronic mobility is all about?
Okay,
Very
so because human beings are to move from one place to the other, and so far the technology has given us the opportunity to use machines to move from one place to the other, and we are now trying to change the source of power from fuel to electricity. So if you ride on bicycle, if you ride on motorcycle, if yours is vehicle, airplane, anything that moves, that convey people and goods, can run on electricity. And that is simply what electric or electronic mobility is about.
Okay, now Stallion Group recently announced that before the year 2020 will run out, Nigeria would officially join the rest of the world in embracing electric cars. Now, as a stakeholder in the industry, what's your reaction to this development?
Well, I'm very happy. The news came that it was going to come this July, actually. And maybe because of the pandemic, we've not had much. So we are still hopeful that they will bring something to the market and in Nigeria. Yes, I mean, it's part of our yearnings, and some of us that are in the EV community, the pro-EV community, and if we have something of such, it means that Nigeria is coming on board as well. Mind you, a lot of African countries are already doing very well in this.
Yes.
Ghana, Rwanda, Kenya,
Yes.
South Africa too.
Yes,
So
it's obvious that these countries are doing that. But you see, the question begs, are we prepared as a nation for these developments? That's one. Is it sustainable for us to migrate towards electric vehicles?
okay, so our preparedness, I will look at it in two ways. Number one is, as a nation, I don't think our governments are really prepared because they are not making any plans towards that.
Okay.
Now, on the second aspect is that as a people, the change that is forthcoming is coming with full force. In Yoruba, sọ pé ìtàkùn tó bá ní kéré má wọ̀dọ̀ òun tèrè mi á lọ, which means that the force is so big enough that nothing can stop it. So if we are not fully prepared, that is to accept this change, then we'll be at the wrong side of it. Now, the other part is that on the technological aspect of it, We are not fully prepared. Some of us have learned about it. We are working towards it and all of that. Our preparedness will mean that we are able to tap into those resources as well and make some solutions. I quickly want to tell you that for any innovator or startup, it's easier for you to start an electric vehicle manufacturing company than the legacy internal combustion engine. And you will see from statistics that since the evolution of electric mobility, we've had a lot of startups, and most of them are technological
Yes,
companies.
because it's driven by technology.
Okay.
Really, we know it's driven by technology. Now, if we are going to embrace electronic mobility in Nigeria, for example, what do you think is the most sustainable way to go about it? And I'm using the keyword sustainable, so that it doesn't come as a flash in the pan, as there's so many innovations happening in Nigeria. How do you think we can do that?
Okay, if we're talking about sustainable, well, I think by way of conversion, we could enter into this market, because we have a lot
You mean converting existing vehicles to electric vehicles?
To electric vehicles,
Okay.
yes. I mean, the technology is abundantly available for that, and we can tap into that, and that will also mean low cost, low carbon emission, and this can be easily done. And on the other part is that, what are we doing? If I'm just thinking in my head that if a part of NDDC fund could go into this kind of innovation, we would have done so much well with all the amounts we are hearing everywhere. So what I think is that as a country, we need to start innovating and bring about our own indigenous solution.
That was exactly where I was going.
All right.
The current Director General of National Automotive Design and Development Council, Engineer Jelani Ali, actually is the designer of the Chevrolet Volt, that electric vehicle made by General Motors in the US.
Yeah.
He designed it. In fact, I know that he has about one or two of it in the country that he uses right now. He's been there now for about 4 or 5 years. The question is, as somebody who was trained out of the country, for him, as somebody who has designed an electric vehicle and has run it, Chevrolet Volt is selling very well in the US and other markets. Why do you think we haven't, somebody like him has not championed the design and the innovation when it comes to electric mobility in Nigeria?
I will have to laugh a little with that question. First of all, being a designer doesn't really mean you know about the tech. That's artistry. I can call it the art part. You design the body, the ergonomics, the look and feel of the car. It doesn't mean you are the architect of the components, the engineering and the technology that works in it. And again, Chevrolet Volt is a plug-in hybrid vehicle.
Yes,
as both the internal combustion engine and that of. But the internal combustion engine mostly is to charge up the battery. Okay. Nigeria is a peculiar place. We have a peculiar situation, and because our leaders believe their money bag is in the oil and gas. You've seen a lot of erroneous headlines where they say House of Assembly is warning the federal government on acceptance and production of electric vehicle in Nigeria.
Yes.
And shortly after that it's injurious to our economy. Okay, so and I look at Norway, a beautiful country, God bless them, where
the same way it blesses Nigeria.
Well, and it depends on how we make use of the blessing anyway. So they contribute 1 to 2% of world oil demand, and in April of 2019, electric vehicle was outselling other
as in so many other countries. As in so many other European countries.
Alright, but they were the first.
Yes, I agree with you.
Okay, so I look at them and I begin to compare us. If Norway does not think sales of electric vehicle is injurious to their own economy, okay, what are the factors? Why don't we compare those factors? We cannot just sit down and start making assumptions. You know, we need to look at the data, we need to research more and say, okay, I mean, Nigeria has been yearning for diversification of their economy. This is the best time to diversify the economy and into what they think is injurious to the economy. I mean, that is what will even lift our economy.
Okay. There is no electricity supply in Nigeria. It's what most people will say. So those are some of the problems that are expected to plague the introduction of electric vehicles into Nigeria. Now, we say there is no power supply, and where are the mechanics that will maintain this? Can you answer those questions?
Okay, so because we lack a lot of things, we are too lackadaisical. I mean, Nigeria has more than 350 days of sunlight, which can be used for solar energy and all of that. We have abundance of water bodies for hydropower. We have wind. All of this can power electric vehicles sufficiently. We don't have to rely on gas turbines to produce the electricity alone.
Now, if you look at it from that perspective, wouldn't the infrastructural cost be humongous for us as a country to put those things in place to be able to use effectively electric vehicles?
See, few years ago it was very expensive. The demands are coming in right now. Technology is advancing, and the prices are dropping so fast. Now, Tesla has solar roof.
Yes.
Now, if you equate the cost for a normal galvanized iron sheet or whatever we call it to roof your house, Tesla solar roof is cheaper to that now.
Okay.
Now, which means that the prices are really dropping fast. These are the alternatives we must harness quickly. So, I don't think there is any issue of what to power our electric.
How about maintenance?
Now, on the part of maintenance, if you are a creator of something, you know A to Z of it. That's why we are saying, let us start innovating. Some of us are already doing that. No, whatever I create, I know what I put there. I can fix it. So the maintenance issue will not come in. And mind you, electric vehicle comes with only about 7 components, and all of it we are already used to. So there is no maintenance issue for a very long time. I mean, you keep, not like gasoline that puts up carbon and make money for the likes of Tunde and Okoya of this world. When it comes to maintenance. So when it comes to electric vehicle, I believe that when it comes to maintenance, that's the highest level of saving you could ever have in a vehicle. For more than a year, you will hardly change anything.
Okay, so let's look at this. We're running out of time, but I want us to cover 2 areas.
All right.
One of it is electronic vehicles are expensive, especially the entry cost and the startup cost for buying an electric vehicle is expensive. How do we deal with that in an era where people are looking, the economy is not so great for people to be able to afford these vehicles? How then do we migrate people into this?
2 solutions right now. Apart from the fact that Tesla is innovating and they're about to announce their breakthrough on Tesla Battery Day, which will mean a lot for Africa, because the battery prices are dropping fast. The singular component, or the largest component in electric vehicle that determines the price is the battery. So once the battery comes cheap, electric vehicle will become cheap. Another one is that if we start manufacturing locally, the prices will drop fast. So importation, import duty, and all of these things are what adds up to the purchasing cost, which makes it.
I'll tell you, my position on electric vehicles and hybrids have always been very simple and straightforward.
All right.
I studied electronic mobility at Paris Tech University.
Good.
And so I have an idea of the economics of electronic mobility.
You have a knowledge of it.
Yes.
Not an idea.
Yeah. Thank you. So now, for me, I believe that the fact that we're trying to sell more vehicles is a setback in terms of the economics of it. When I say more vehicles, we are still trying to get a lot of individuals to buy electric vehicles. It still doesn't look to me like it's economically efficient. I believe that if we really want to use electronic mobility efficiently enough, we'll be looking at it in the areas of mass transit.
Yes.
Now, if we are not looking at it from the area of mass transit and we are looking at each individual owning their electric vehicles, that might still be an issue.
Yes, I agree with you, quite all right. And in Africa, you know, the peculiarity for Africa and when it comes to mobility is that you must make it a commercial, you know, kind of mobility. So what it is that for electric vehicle that is coming will be very useful for mass transit, and that is where the most impact will come for Africa generally. So there is no gainsaying about it. Whatever that is coming, let's make it for mass transit.
You're still listening to Auto Clinic with the mechanic on Splash 105.5 FM. My guest in the studio today has been Tolulope Olukokun. He is the founder, Think Electric Africa, and we have been talking all along about hybrids and electric. I can assure you that the conversation around electric cars and electronic mobility cannot be, it's not something we can exhaust within 30 minutes or 1 hour. It's a very lengthy conversation we're going to have around that. Now, thank you very much, Tolulope Olukokun, for joining us. We have been unable to take telephone calls today. Or Nokoya, reminding you that COVID-19 is still very much around. Ensure you observe every precaution to prevent its spread. Also to ensure that you fasten your seatbelts whenever you are in a vehicle. Remember,